Welcome to Shadow of History, mysterious, dark, and untold stories from world history. Today, we're going to look at a pivotal moment in history, one that lasted just 10 minutes, but changed the course of the world forever. This moment occurred on June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo, and it marked the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. The events of that fateful day triggered a series of political and military actions that ultimately led to World War I, one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. The assassination itself may have been brief, but its consequences would be felt for decades to come. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was not just any royal figure. As the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, he was next in line to lead one of the largest and most powerful empires in Europe. His assassination was not a random act of violence, but the culmination of long-standing political tensions, nationalist movements, and growing instability in Europe. Austria-Hungary, the empire he represented, was a multinational entity struggling to maintain control over its diverse population, which included Slavs, Hungarians, Germans, and other ethnic groups. This ethnic tension had been growing for years, especially in the Balkans, a region with complex alliances, historical grievances, and nationalist movements seeking independence from the empire. The assassin, Gavrilo Princip, was a member of a radical group known as the Black Hand, which sought to liberate Slavic territories from Austro-Hungarian rule. The group had been planning an assassination for some time, and Franz Ferdinand was seen as a symbol of the oppression of Slavic peoples. On the day of the assassination, the Archduke and his wife, Sophie, were visiting Sarajevo to observe military maneuvers, a routine royal visit that would soon turn into one of the most significant events in history. The assassination itself took place in a dramatic and chaotic series of events. On the morning of June 28th, Franz Ferdinand and his wife were traveling through Sarajevo in a motorcade, which had been carefully planned and coordinated. However, things did not go according to plan. The first assassination attempt came when a member of the Black Hand threw a grenade at the motorcade, but it missed and exploded under the car following the Archduke's. While the explosion caused damage and injured several people, the Archduke and his wife were unharmed. This initial failure, however, only added to the tension of the day. After the failed attempt, Franz Ferdinand and Sophie were advised to return to the palace, but the Archduke insisted on visiting the wounded in the hospital. While the motorcade made its way to the hospital, an unfortunate twist of fate would lead to their second encounter with Princip. The driver of their car took a wrong turn and ended up on a street where Princip happened to be standing. The car, which was moving at a slow pace, stopped just a few feet away from the assassin. At this moment, Princip saw his chance, drew his pistol, and fired 2 shots. One shot struck Franz Ferdinand in the neck, and the other struck his wife in the abdomen. Within minutes, the Archduke and his wife were dead. These 10 minutes, the time it took for the second assassination attempt to succeed, forever altered the course of history. The death of the Archduke was a spark in a dry, volatile powder keg of political tensions, national ambitions, and alliances that had been simmering in Europe for years. What followed was an immediate political crisis, and within a month, Europe was plunged into the horrors of World War I. The assassination set off a chain reaction of events that led to a full-scale war. Austria-Hungary, with the backing of Germany, saw the assassination as an opportunity to strike at Serbia, believing that Serbia had been complicit in the plot due to its support for Slavic nationalist movements. Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia, demanding that they suppress anti-Austrian sentiment and punish those responsible for the assassination. Serbia, backed by Russia, refused to meet all the demands. This refusal led to Austria-Hungary declaring war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. Russia, as an ally of Serbia, mobilized its forces in defense of the small Balkan nation. Germany, allied with Austria-Hungary, then declared war on Russia, and soon France, which had a treaty with Russia, was drawn into the conflict. The complex web of alliances, with Britain joining in support of France, turned a regional dispute into a global conflict. Within weeks, Europe was at war, and the world would be plunged into a conflict that would last 4 years, and result in millions of deaths. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand was a turning point in history, but it was not the sole cause of World War I. It was merely the spark that ignited the war in a Europe already on the brink of conflict. Tensions had been building for years due to imperialism, militarism, nationalism, and a tangled system of alliances between the great powers. The assassination brought these tensions to a boiling point and set into motion a series of events that led to a war that reshaped the political landscape of Europe and the world. But while the immediate cause of the war was political, the long-term consequences of World War I were much broader. The war led to the collapse of empires: the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Russian Empire, and the Ottoman Empire, all disintegrated in the aftermath of the war. New nations were created, and the political boundaries of Europe were redrawn. The war also set the stage for the rise of fascism, communism, and the eventual outbreak of World War II, as the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles and the instability created by the war led to deep political and social unrest. In the years following the war, the world grappled with the aftermath of the conflict. The death toll was staggering, with an estimated 16 million people losing their lives, and millions more were left wounded, traumatized, or displaced. The war also had profound social and economic impacts, leading to changes in society and the economy, as well as the cultural shifts that would define the 20th century. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie may have lasted just 10 minutes, but the consequences were felt for generations. It was a moment in time when the world changed forever. The complex network of alliances, national ambitions, and political decisions that led to World War I shows how a single event can unravel a world on the edge of disaster. The assassination was not just the loss of an individual, but the loss of an entire political order, one that had held Europe together for centuries. Even today, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand serves as a stark reminder of the fragile nature of peace and the potential for conflict to arise from even the most unexpected events. The events of June 28, 1914 show how a single moment can alter the course of history, leading to a world that is forever changed. Thank you for joining us as we explored the 10 minutes that changed the world. If you found this story both fascinating and sobering, make sure to subscribe to Shadow of History for more mysterious, dark, and untold stories from the past. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Until next time, stay curious and continue uncovering the untold stories that have shaped our world.